Welcome on back, everybody, to a special Halloween episode, oh my dears, of Listening to the Voices in Our Heads, where we're talking about things that probably are appropriate for the season, and we're going to also start checking that naughty and nice list. NFT, where you be? Let's go! Indeed, welcome back to another episode of Listening to the Voices in Our Heads, where creative minds get together and talk about their creative processes in a world not necessarily built for themselves. And we've got someone backstage who is so keen on saving even the tiniest of animals to speedrunning and Metroid levels that I just had to bring her on and chat about all the cool things she and her other half of the Two of Crones have going on. You know her as NFT. Hello, honey. How are you?
Hi, I am doing stellar. How about you?
Great. Very glad to have you for this episode because it's as if the fates have been toying with us.
Indeed.
So I gave a little bit of a hype. Tell us about yourself, all the cool things, where to find you, books you've got out, and more.
Okay, so I'm Nicole Ford Thomas. I am a former slash kind of still member of the authortube community. I've just become so busy that authortube kind of is the thing that fell off, but I love supporting my authortube friends. I absolutely appreciate everything that you guys are creating and that you're doing, and I am happy to be a part of that community in whatever capacity I can be. I am the author of the Spellbound novel, and I also have been putting together anthologies for the AuthorTube community, and it has morphed into, we now have the Two of Crones, our anthology company.
So you really have grown it with this third one, and I think we're going to get chatting about that later on for sure. So second question, we're going to jump right into your process. Novel writing. How does your process for novel writing go usually?
I'll be totally honest with you. I wing it. I wing it. I don't have a clue what I'm doing at any point in anything. I'm just like, whoa, we're just putting some words down. We're just gonna, and literally, it's like the name of this podcast couldn't be more relevant, but I just listen to what the voice in my head tell me to write down, and that's the story. And occasionally they get mad at me and they stop talking to me for a while, and that's not great. I have to then figure out what I've done to upset them, and I have to then appease the voices in my head for them to continue telling me the story. But that's it. I feel like when it comes to novels, I am a conduit. I am just the person who has been chosen to put the words down. I just do what I'm told.
You're literally the first reporter of the shenanigans they show you. It sounds like a little bit.
Yes, because I will be the first to be like, you did what? You said you did not. Like, you did not say that. You said that. Oh, and so I am the first person to be like, oh, I can't wait to tell my sister what y'all just said. So yes.
Do you think your readers pick up on that, or have readers kind of gotten those vibes? Do you think, like, if you feel it, do you think they'll feel it?
I think so. In the regard of where, it's always said that if you're surprised, your readers will be surprised. So because I'm constantly surprised by the shenanigans these kids get up to, I'm just like, are you kidding me? I'm just glad I'm not your mother. So in that regard, I feel that, I think the readers also pick up on things that we did not see coming, that just kind of come out of left field, to where we're left like, these kids, some people's children. So,
because what's the age group of your characters, to clarify?
they are all 16. specifically in Spellbound, everyone is 16. That's like a plot point. Everyone has to be 16. So someone said to me, like, they're handling the circumstances that you gave them quite well. And I was like, well, they're 16. They don't really have any alternative at this point. You just kind of roll with it.
Having taught that age group, they are really good at either doing that or they get hard knock lessons until they do.
That's it. You got a choice. You either start running or it makes you run. That's it.
That's good life advice in a way too. So you also write a lot of short stories, and for those of us who have joined on your lives in the past, we've kind of seen the process in between a little bit. Is it very similar with your short stories by comparison?
No. To be perfectly honest, it's not even remotely the same. And actually, I was in a coaching call earlier with another author tuber that I'm really fond of, and um, I remember saying to her basically, and I paraphrase because I'm usually much kinder than this, but I was basically, just stop. You've already done everything wrong. You already messed it up. We got to go back 2 3 steps. Like, just hold on. So the first step when it comes to writing a short story, for me, in my opinion, is the very first thing. Before you even start considering plots or characters or scenery, you need to figure out what is the emotion that you want to evoke in your reader. First and foremost, what do you want your reader to feel? Because every single word you choose from that point on, from your opening sentence to your closing sentence, will be done with that emotion in mind. Therefore, you've got to have that thinking of, do I choose this word or do I choose that word? Should I have these sentences be more brief, or should I have them be more elaborate given the situation? But you have to always have that emotion in the forefront. And I found that you don't need to really have that with a novel, because you're just telling a story and the emotions are like roller coasters going and coming. And short stories, you've got a small amount of words to make the biggest impact possible. And that's it. It doesn't start with a plot. It doesn't start with a story idea. It starts with, how do you want your reader to feel in the days following reading your story?
Because you're right, you have so much less runway to deal with, and you need to hit it
Exactly.
hard.
Right out of the gate.
I like to compare it to like a carnival ride, to like a traveling carnival, to like a steel coaster at somewhere like Six Flags or Disney or Universal.
Yeah.
They're both fun. One lasts considerably less, including the wait time.
Yeah.
Usually. So yeah, if you don't hit it and hit it hard, wow. So what are some of your favorite things? Like, do you find certain emotions you go to again and again then with the short stories, or no?
I I like humor. I don't get to write with enough humor, so I usually want to make my reader laugh. So there will be chuckles in there regardless, but even if I'm writing something that's very sad, I will still have humor in there. I can't not put humor in something that I write. But melancholy lately has been um, a huge draw for me, to make the reader sad when I'm like, I'm so happy. Why do I want people to feel like this? But it's something I don't typically do. So it's an exercise in trying things in a new way. So yeah, melancholy seems to be really, ennui is really pulling at my heartstrings lately.
Kind of fitting for the world as it be. You did say you're a channel. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, might just be having my finger on the pulse of what the universe is feeling right now.
Possibly so. So, given both forms at play, do you believe that you're able to write both forms? Like, does one help the other? Because you do completely different opposite tactics, it sounds like, though.
Yes, they're two completely different processes and everything. And I like being able to write the rough draft of a short story in a day or maybe 2 days. To have to go months and months trying to draft out a novel and then having the constant questioning, did I do this? Did I do that? It wears on me. But in regards to the one informing the other, I think that it has almost been a detriment, if that makes sense. I started off as a short story writer. So to then have to be writing novels, I'm severely an underwriter. So my rough drafts are way shorter than the finished product. And I have to go back and fill things in because I'm used to being brief. I'm used to being succinct and making sure that I use as few words to say what I want to say as possible. You don't have to do that in a novel. And so you can take the time to describe things to kind of go off and set the scene. Whereas in a short story, the whole entire thing is Chekhov's gun from beginning to end. If it doesn't have a purpose, it's got to go. It has to go. You just don't have time to have floral prose. There's just not time. So I would say that honestly, being a short story writer probably makes me a worse novelist, if that makes sense.
You see where your room to grow would be for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, asking this as an overwriter who has read a lot of short stories in her day, um, is your short story when it comes out in compilations, if you do that, are they kind of like the things they carried Tim O'Brien's work, where it's kind of like a string of short stories that are rather episodic, or have you ever considered doing that?
I have a short story collection published that kind of fills that very niche in that the book is called Tales from the Moonlight Market. And the overarching theme is that everything takes place in this supernatural market within the Black Forest of Germany. And so all of these things are happening, but each story is standalone. The one recurring character throughout every one of them is just the market itself. So it's all these different things that are happening within the market, um, that they don't build on one another. You don't have to read one to understand another later. But if you read them all in entirety, you realize that the entire collection is still telling a story beginning to end, even though they are the individual short stories. I pulled very strongly from a book that I read when I was a little kid. When it came to that, I read Wayside Stories from Sideways Stories from Wayside School, and
I love that book.
exactly. So that's it. So whereas the school that was built vertically as opposed to horizontally was the one overarching character, that's kind of the way that it is for the market in the short story collections. So they have a connection in that regard, but otherwise, no, most of my short stories are completely standalone, off the wall, just whatever I feel like writing that day, whatever the voices are telling me is a good idea to put on paper is how I do it.
Speaking of voices and short stories, is that what led to you doing anthologies?
I love short stories. I have always been a huge lover of short stories because one, I'm extremely impatient. I'll be honest, I'm very impatient. And two, I love the fact that in the short story genre, you can say so much in such a small place, and that it's less of like with a novel, it's the author telling the story to the reader, and then the reader goes, "Oh, hey, I got a story." With short stories, it's more of like an exchange. It's more of where I write this, and there's still some stuff that's not outright explained, and the reader has to do the legwork to fill it in for themselves. And I love talking to readers afterwards to then get that information of, okay, what did you see? What was this? Who is this character? How did that go for you? I have an answer as the writer. I know what I saw, but I want to hear when a reader has read it, I want to hear what they saw. So in that regards, that is what's so important to me. What I love the most about short stories And it kind of morphed into an anthology from a conversation that we were having on a live stream once, where I mentioned that I didn't want to go to the library with my hair looking like a bog hag. And a couple people in the live stream were like, "What's a bog hag?" And I was like, "Oh boy, have I got a story for you." And it just grew from there to where we all ended up talking about if we had an anthology of all bog hag stories, what would they be, and how cool it would be, because there are so many different writers in the authortube community, genres represented. How would they go through? There it is. That's
There
it.
she is.
I love her. But to have all of these different things represented, and I was like, you know what? This sounds like fun. I'm going to go for it. I will set this up. Let's figure this out. And I didn't know the first thing about putting together an anthology other than I could probably do it, maybe. And so that's how it started, was just the off the wall commentary, and then other people just taking the ideas and running and realizing there's so much possibility here within the authortube community to be able to say, like, here's our various definitions of what a bog hag is and how we represent these stories, how we bring her across in our styles. And it was so fun to put together. Like, I absolutely enjoyed doing that so much. And that's how we were born, was just, an offhanded comment, a bunch of people, just writers, just starting to daydream out loud, and then finally saying, yeah, we need to make this happen. This needs to exist. And I stepped up and was the one who did it.
This is the magic of authortube, in my opinion.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes, I am so lucky to have this community and these group of creative friends who understand and who are willing to take a challenge, do something that they wouldn't typically do, and just say, where can I go with this? How can I grow? And it made it such a special anthology.
Mm-hmm. And you've since done both Bog Hag and now Beltane. They seem to be polar opposites, but it's like a lot of the same people submitted, though.
Mm-hmm.
And you even grew. I mean, one comment I often get from people is, this one's shorter, but oh my goodness, is she thicker? And I'm like,
Yes,
there's way more entries, is why. Like,
that's it.
It's just, even the people who submitted the same, is it really the thread that's binding it together, or is it more of the nerdiness that we all share, you think?
I think it's the fact that at our core, all humanity, every human, everyone is a storyteller. And however it is that people find that story within themselves, whatever it is that sparks that interest, people at their core want to tell stories. And so, as the first anthology came out, and it was just the more silliness of everything that we could bring forward, and people saw how much fun we were having, the word spread. So then more people, without really knowing what Beltane was, or things like that, were open to saying, I want to play. I want to play too. And that's it. It's playtime for writers. And the one thing that I always made sure to tell all of our contributors, do not stress about this. Don't let this be something that keeps you from doing your work with your own stories. Don't let this be something that keeps you up at night worrying about deadlines. Don't do that. This is playtime. If it's not playtime for you, it's okay. Just wait. There will be more. And so I think that also comes through in the stories, that you can tell how playful of a group we were, to just, for fun, just do something abnormal and to put it out there. So for as much as they are different, and as much as they are polar opposites, they have that same thread of play, of just imagination gone wild and given a very long leash to come up with what it came up with. And that's what we got.
And there's a reason why whenever at vendor shows, I tell people, if you get a copy of those, go on a collection quest for all of our signatures, because you got to meet all of us to understand the stories and the poetry, because Yeah, it's become a safe space for a lot of us to kind of feel comfortable expressing sides of us that we may not
Absolutely.
always put in our other work elsewhere. So, my next question I'm going to reframe in two parts then. In the
Go for it.
immediate future, literally today, happy Halloween, everybody, we have the next leg of the journey, short term, but what's also going on in the spring, long term? Do we know yet?
We do know, and I feel comfortable saying it here. But what is happening today is that Krampus, the Krampus anthology is now coming out. This is our third anthology, and the first, as the company of Sarah C. Brody and I joined together as the tag team to create Two of Crones. So now we are no longer exclusive to AuthorTube. We have opened it wide to let writers from bigger communities, the author like writer communities, in person and then in Facebook groups and different things, that people can still be inspired and contribute. So today is the release of Hush Little Baby, our Krampus anthology, and I'm so proud of this anthology, of the stories that came together, of how people interpreted the Krampus theme to everybody present something so different from the next. It's not all just the same story over and over again. It's another roller coaster ride, and I'm so proud of that. Also, extremely proud of our cover, which was designed by the artist Sean Koss, who designs for Any Means Necessary. He used to work for Cyanide and Happiness as an artist, and now he's branched out on his own, and he's very famous and very amazing. And I am beyond grateful that he was willing to let us use his artwork and also design the cover for us.
It's I, I've said this so far about every single cover. It's gotten better on the covers, just like the interior has. Every one that you and now your co-partner Sarah put together is just amazing. So I'm going to circle back to Sarah here in a second because we
Okay,
need to give her some props too, because I'm sure in her
definitely.
interview you're getting some props in return.
I hope.
So
No, I'm just kidding.
well, you should. You're like twins, in my opinion, and that's a good thing. You both rock. So,
Twinsies.
spring 2026.
Okay, I can say it now, and to let everyone know that the next anthology is themed shipwreck. It is everything that is to do with shipwrecks, in regards to, we could have sea captains, we could have pirates, we could have Davy Jones, we could have krakens, we could have sirens, mermaids, anything. It just has to feature a shipwreck, and that's it. That is the one catch, is that got to have a shipwreck. And then what happens because a ship got wrecked?
Oh, given some of the people I know who are going to apply, the takes on the meaning of the word shipwreck might not be the ship you think it is.
I fully am prepared for that, because it gives the opportunity for, did this ship wreck into the moon? Did it get hit by an asteroid, and is it now dead in outer space? There's so much interpretation there, that just our guide is shipwreck. What you do from it with that, have fun.
You two are amazing. You two, oh my God. You heard it here, y'all. You heard it here. So, speaking of you two, Sarah, how did the two of you meet and get hanging out? I assume author two, but you two, like, you're twins. We normally see one, we see the other.
Yeah, we do tend to follow each other, because just I and she and I, we talk all day, every day. We're constantly talking to each other. People probably think we never leave Discord, because we just spend all day talking to each other. But we met each other through AuthorTube, obviously. The first thing was in Jenna, one of your live streams. We were doing music, and we got talking about Duran Duran.
Yes!
Yeah,
I remember this conversation now. I'm like, wait a minute, it was me? Oh yeah, Duran Duran.
yeah.
That
So
stream was wild.
Sarah and I took over the entire thing, just talking about Duran Duran, and you're reading all these comments, and you're like, y'all, I love Simon Le Bon as much as the next girl, but can we talk about, like, we got to keep moving here. You guys just do your thing off to the side, but we can't. So that was the beginning. But Sarah and I got together with a venture that didn't end up panning out, which was fine. We met up through that, and we were going to be working together to put together an anthology elsewhere in the authortube community, and it wasn't the right time. It didn't work out, and so we were like, okay, we're just going to withdraw. And I was like, but I really like Sarah. Let's see if Sarah wants to keep making anthologies. And she absolutely did. And so now I can't imagine doing this without her. She is essential. She's so fantastic. We got to meet each other in May. We sat and had some beers. It was adorable. And we
Finally!
got to hang
Yes!
out. Yes, I went to go see her in where she was living in Gatlinburg. So we had a good time doing that, and it just really cemented, like, she is absolutely my twinsy, and we have so much fun doing this. Skill sets that I am awful at, like making graphics and stuff like that. She's amazing at it. I'm like, you got this. And then there is nothing that I can do that she can't. So that doesn't go the other way. She's real big on the heavy lifting. She's just amazing. So I adore her, and I cannot imagine going forward with another anthology without her absolutely at my side. We are absolutely equal co-partners in all of this, where it started off just being me. She's not my second in command. She is with me absolutely every step of the way, and I love it so much.
So how do the spouses feel about the work wife situation, kind of the twinsing going along? Are they, I know your hubby's kind of chill, so that's why I'm like, is it totally cool then and encouraging, I assume?
You said my hubby's kind of chill, but this is the same man that on Friendsgiving disappeared from camera and then reappeared wearing lederhosen. So I don't know if chill is the way to describe Kyle, but he absolutely, because he got to meet Sarah too when we all got together, and we had a blast. So he is fantastic. He knows that I could not do this without her, and he is so grateful for the fact that she keeps me grounded, and that when I get harebrained ideas, she's like, Nicole, stop. And he's like, thank you. Finally, someone she'll listen to. So yeah, it works out really well. I think all the hubbies are happy that we keep each other occupied, I guess, to give them a moment's peace, maybe.
It gives, you have someone that you can literally relate to in the author space. They get it being your spouse. It's different when it's someone
Yeah.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely, work bestie. So it's work bestie. Sarah and I are work besties. And so,
Love it.
yeah.
So, what advice then, not only with a work bestie, but building a community driven event, even? What advice do you have for people?
So this is going to sound really weird. And I just, it's from observing the observations that I have been making in the years that I've been involved with the authortube community, and things that I've seen flourish and things that I've seen fail. My advice would be to not try to make money off of it personally. That if you want to do something for charity, if you want the money to go to a great cause, go for it and do it with your whole heart, your whole chest. The people will follow with you, because there's enough of us that we've all been through so many different life experiences, have different interests, that you're going to reach everyone. However, if you're then asking someone, hey, can you contribute this piece of this work, this short story or this poetry, can you contribute this? And I'm going to get 10% of it. And then, this is going to go to that. It fails, because we're all starving artists. Basically, we're all hoping to make money off of our things. So people don't seem to really want to contribute. when somebody else is profiting off of their work. It's just not the same. So if you're going to put something together like this, definitely, if you want the community to rally behind you, be doing it for a cause greater than yourself.
That's a good note to give, definitely. Especially given the way things have changed in the YouTube space at large, even in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes. 3,000% yes.
Yep.
4,000% yes on that. So you mentioned charity then, as someone who runs Quill Cottage Wildlife. What is that about? What benefit does the anthologies originally have connected to it, and so on?
Yes, I also, when I am not being a writer or an editor, my other job is that I am a wildlife rehabilitator. I own my own 501c3, Quill Cottage Wildlife, and we take in orphan mammals from Northeast Ohio and I raise them to be released. The problem with it being a 501c3 is that, we're not getting paid. We're not getting money from the state. All of our income, all of the money that we use to take care of the animals comes completely from donations. So in that regard, the all 100% of the profits, period, from the anthologies this far have gone towards Quill Cottage Wildlife. Yes, it is my anthology, but the money is not going to me. Every dime of it goes straight into taking care of the babies and taking care of getting them their healthy checkups, making sure everyone's healthy, making sure that they're in the proper habitat, making sure they're eating nutritious food and that they have safe bedding and things to play with, enrichment and things like that. And then every animal that gets released with a home. So we're not going to take a squirrel out and just stick a squirrel like, here's a tree, kid, good luck. We build habitats for them that we will then hang in trees that they can stay in for as long as they need to before they go off and do their own thing. So they've got their built in safe space. And then, of course, we do not get to recover those houses. So we need to replace the lumber. So that is where with the wildlife rehab, that is how it intersects with the anthologies, because every single dime that doesn't get taken by Amazon for printing the book goes directly to the wildlife critters.
And honestly, just even imagining if you had to take one of them to a vet, that's not, your mom and pop vet around the corner usually you're going
Nope.
to. That's a specialty price to go with that specialty training. Just saying.
Yes, we have to go with exotic vets, and our closest one is about 45 minutes away. And then, of course, we have to pay exotic pet prices. So if anybody's having a problem, we definitely have to cover that. And a lot of how much we can contribute to help animals is based off of what we can afford. So the more money we get, the more money that we can spend towards food and taking care of babies. And it's an around the clock, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week job. It doesn't go away. Like there's no point where somebody else comes in and takes care of it. It's me. It's me. So I'm happy to be able to do that, though. It's a very satisfying job.
It sounds like it because, in many ways, you're not just replacing mom for some of these kiddos. You're literally, broken legs and worse, I'm sure.
Yes, yes. When they come in, I mean, I won't go into detail. It can get
Well,
pretty
yeah, yeah,
gross,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
when we get some in, there is immediate triage that we have to do. There is definitely an immediate getting a weight, checking eyes and ears and other orifices to make sure everything's on the up and up. We have to give everyone a really quick once over, because if something is outside of my scope of what I can handle, then we need to immediately get them to where they need to go for their best chance at survival. And so yeah, it's all encompassing. It's more than just feeding them. It's definitely having to learn a lot about woodland creatures, animals that you would not typically have knowledge about. It's very different from taking care of cats and dogs, which is what we get a lot. But not we don't get that at the wildlife, but people in general, our pets are what we deal with. But I no, I like right now I'm learning, I'm having a crash course in groundhogs.
Yes,
So,
you are. Yes, you are. That you typically have like squirrels, right?
squirrels, chipmunks, rabbits, possums, groundhogs, and I feel like there's one other critter that I'm missing. Bunnies.
Bunnies.
Um, but that's about what we can do. We have a really bad problem with rabies around here, so any of the rabies vector species we're not allowed to take care of. So I can't have raccoons, which breaks my heart. Skunks, which is less of a heartbreaker, but still, I take care of one if I needed to. But we have a limited what we're allowed to take on and what we're allowed to deal with due to rabies. But basically, just Northeast Ohio's mammals.
So definitely check out the description box below if you want to buy any of the current 3 anthologies that are out, or if you want to go ahead and donate directly, there will be links in the description box below for
Yes,
sure, for
thank
sure.
you. Every dime is absolutely appreciated and goes straight back to the babies.
Definitely help the babies, please. We adore them. And you give us photo updates and whatnot occasionally too.
I do. We have an Instagram and a Facebook group and stuff. So there are updates. And now we now have our first animal ambassador. We have an education animal that now lives with us. His name is Slim Shady, and he is a leucistic groundhog, which means his coloring is all completely wrong. He's very, very blonde and thinks that he would camouflage nicely underneath of, say, a bush, where when he would go underneath of a bush, a predator would be able to see him because he would be lit up like the 4th of July underneath the bush. So we can't release him. He gets to spend the rest of his life here. And that's me getting my crash course in what do you do with a groundhog past the point of it's time to release them. So
He's getting
there's going to
big
be
too.
he's getting so big and he's so cute and he's all jiggly and when he moves and he jiggles and I love him. Absolutely love him.
You need to definitely support the baby. So we're going to pivot slightly, and I imagine the conduit thing and the giving back to the land by taking care of the animal babies is part of this for your life too, as a witchy woo-woo writer, or simply a writer who finds himself maybe out of tune with the most top 5 mainstream spiritual and religion sectors. What advice would you have about cultivating a safe, if not sacred, space to create from in this world of chaos, especially given you've already said, given the title of the podcast?
Indeed. I would say first thing I would highly recommend is reading Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. That was a really important book for me because it really drove home for me that we shouldn't be writing to pay the bills because that puts so much pressure on our writing that we're then like, well, how are we going to eat dinner today? Because I haven't written this short story. What am I going to do? Don't quit your day job until you're absolutely certain that your writing is going to do that. Don't put that kind of pressure on the work that you're trying to do because writing is a spiritual creative endeavor that if you put real world hangups on it, you're going to struggle and that's going to lead to burnout. Um, I love that. Another thing that Elizabeth Gilbert said that was really important to me is feel free to beat this if you need to, because it's very much so exactly what she says. But she says you have to be able to choose your flavor of shit sandwich because something bad is going to happen either way. That's just the way of the world. So you have to choose. Is this going to be your thing that sucks really bad in your life, or is this going to be the thing that sucks really bad in your life? But you can't go into any creative endeavor saying this is not going to suck. It's going to suck. There's always going to be bits and pieces that are going to make it painful, and you're going to question, why am I doing this? What was I thinking? Blah, blah, blah. It's just, you have to remember, I chose this because this is still better than this.
And definitely to those of you who are on the question of, do I leave a day job or not? If you need to change your day job, maybe that's the solution. I'll give to that caveat, saying this as someone who's left the, classroom realm of things because of that reason. 2000% agree. Yeah. Maybe it's not just it's time to step fully out. Maybe the day job itself needs to change.
Yeah, find something that's a little more conducive to what you need as far as a schedule or the amount of spoons it takes from you in the course of a work day. If you're so burnt out by the end of the day that you can't possibly sit down to write, then, maybe a shift is better and figuring that out. But definitely don't let your creative outlet be the thing that you then try to shoehorn into paying your bills, because then it stops being a creative outlet and starts being a job.
This is true. And no one wants it to feel like a chore and therefore a job. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So, what is one thing creatives, you said Big Magic, one other thing they should read or watch to be a better creative person for insert whatever reason they have here?
This is going to sound really weird, but just something to watch. Anything outside. Like no screens, no anything. Go outside. Whether it be you put a blanket in the grass and you're watching a couple of ants crawl over, blades of grass, you're watching them fight with each other, there's bugs flying around. Just stop and observe, and to just take that amount of wonder with you, to be able to let that be the thing that refills your well, because we're given everything we need in the environment around us to tap into our best selves. It's just a matter of setting aside our modern life to go outside, and whether it be you're just watching the sunset or you're watching water ripple up on a lake shore or a river go past, or just birds doing weird stuff in a nest or whatever it is, go outside. Go outside. Like less screens, less other people talking and telling you how it's supposed to be. Go outside and just listen. Listen to the world around you. Listen to what the breeze brings up to you, because all of the answers to everything we need are outside.
She ain't wrong, y'all. She ain't wrong. One of my things I said I want to do is learn how to not just people watch again, but world watch again. And that's part of it. It's not just stopping to smell the roses, it's checking in to see how life really is a little bit to a degree. Is it?
Yeah, and then having that added benefit of realizing how integrated we all are, how that ant that is crawling across that blade of grass, yeah, it's just an ant. That ant's a part of you. That ant is a part of the ecosystem, and he belongs in the grass just as much as you do. And so it's that element of tapping back into the fact that we are all part of a collective conscience, and that it's all part of the planet that we live on and the nature that's around us, and the world that we inhabit is all us. We are the same thing. And to be able to tap into that creative side of ourselves and to be able to find that inspiration again truly means finding the way to recognizing your place within the collective.
Definitely love that, my friendo. So we're going to be wrapping up and winding it down from here, y'all. Tell us where we can find you again and check the description box.
Definitely. My website is NicoleFordThomas.com, just my full name, because I'm super creative. And then on Instagram, you can find me also at Nicole Ford Thomas. I am on Blue Sky at Nicole Ford Thomas, and YouTube at Nicole Ford Thomas, and Facebook at Nicole Ford Thomas. So nothing if not consistent.
Thankfully so. And now you know why so many of us just started calling her NFT.
NFT. It gets the job done. That's a mouthful. That's so many syllables. NFT.
You rock. You totally rock. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
spending
dear.
time with me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me on. This was a lot of fun. I can't wait to do more in the future.
Yeah, and you've seen her. Go see what Sarah has to say about similar questions in her episode coming up soon.
Yes.
And above all, check out their links. Support the babies and not the babies, because Spellbound deserves a lot of love too. Just saying, just saying.
Let's be fair, that money's going to go to the babies too.
I kind of figured, but I would hope that you would take care of yourself a little bit too out of that eventually, because you deserve it too. You help the babies, you deserve it too. And above all, your voice has value. Dang it.